Earlier today, this is what Manu Ginobili said. He is not coming back. This is, of course, talking about Kawhi Leonard. For me, he is not coming back because think he is not helping. We fell for it a week ago. Again, I guess you guys, the media, made us fall for it. But we have to think that he is not coming back. All right. Stephen, if you are a player on this team, and you have been a player on this team, is that just Manu sort of saying, like, I got to treat it like he's not coming back? Or do you think at this point they know better than the rest of us? And after all of this back and forth of the season and Pop giving Kawhi coded messages through the media, which is honestly something I never thought I would see. Right? Do you think Manu is actually speaking the truth here?
That's what they all saying. They're all trying to, okay, we're going to move on like he's not coming back. We're going to prepare. We're going to try to make it, you know. So they're all going to say the right things. But to me, I've always tried to give the Spurs the benefit of the doubt that something's going on now. You know what I mean? I've always tried to say the right things. But for Kawhi not to be playing all year, as much as I know how much he loves the game, for him not to be playing still, something's up. But I don't know if it's just injury.
It's on his side.
You know, but that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's just injury. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what's going on at this point. I had a lot of answers all this time. I have no answers now.
Here's my thing. He had an injury a couple of years ago that was misdiagnosed. And he came back and he wasn't healthy, but the doctors told him, once again, we're going back to the doctors telling you you're all right, but you don't feel all right, but you play anyway and later it turns out, oh, wait, I wasn't all right. So I understand his trepidation right now because he's
what?
Trepidation. That's the word of the day.
Nice.
So, but the idea that, like, y'all are...
Trepanation, which is drilling a hole in your head. Continue. Which I think we want to do on this show occasionally.
You doctors are telling me that I'm cleared, I'm okay, but I don't feel it. And the athlete knows his body better than anybody. And Stat, you know Kawhi. Is Kawhi soft?
No, not at all.
Is Kawhi like a crybaby over a little cut?
Nope, he don't.
So if you don't feel right, I'm going to trust Kawhi on that one.
Right.
It's tough, though, because this then feeds into the summer, and it bleeds into next year, and it could completely reshape the league. This is not just about, do the Spurs get Kawhi Leonard back to make a playoff run? This is about, hey, is Kawhi going to get reintegrated into the team, or is there these separate camps, which is what we seem to have right now, and as that bleed over into the summer, do the Spurs offer him a max? Do they kind of have to offer him a super max because they can't get it?
Here's my thing.
Does he want the super max from the Spurs? If he says no...
Yes, he wants the super... Yes, he wants the money. Everyone wants the money. But all three of us have been around the league for a while. In the spectrum of headache franchise players, on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you put Kawhi? As far as a headache.
I don't know.
High maintenance.
Negative 0.
You know? Like
Wait,
even,
but how can you know? How many conversations have you had with Kawhi Leonard?
But Rachel, it's...
You've had plenty.
Yeah,
tell us.
He's definitely not high maintenance at all.
Okay.
And even this may be a little bit of flexing the superstar muscle, but it is...
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying I don't feel like I know Kawhi Leonard the way I know.
But we know what
guys.
10 is on the headache scale.
Yeah.
So for the Spurs to even have, like, any questions about, oh, we don't want to deal with this anymore. Really? Because...
We're not talking about Stephen Jackson. We're talking about Kawhi.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I ain't got to wake up and worry about him getting shot.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You do still have LaMarcus Aldridge. I want to make clear when I was saying when we were going to break, I like LaMarcus. I've repped for LaMarcus on the show for the last year.
Did you make it
clear? It sounded like it.
I'm just saying, if you're a Spurs fan, you sort of feel like, gosh, I want 2 superstars out there instead of 1. But at least the 1 has kept them in the 6th seed, right? He's been a big reason for their success, averaging 23 and 8, one of only 6 players this season to average over 20 points per game, 50% shooting. So again, I am repping for LaMarcus Aldridge right here. I'm just saying you'd rather have both. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that.
Yes, you'd rather have both. But credit for keeping them afloat, I think, is a little much because a week ago, San Antonio was in the 9th seed. And when was the last time this late in the season we talked about San Antonio being in the 9th seed? I'll tell you, they had a Hall of Famer wearing 21.
Yes.
His name was Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, hey, I tell you this, you're a power forward.
Oh, Vinny!
Look at that.
You're a power forward in Spurs uniform. They expect you to bring championships, not to patch your stats. So what he's doing right now, they ain't paying attention to that San Antonio. They're used to winning.
Well, I mean, I think people are very grateful in San Antonio that LaMarcus and Pop worked out their differences over the summer, and he didn't get traded. Right?
Well, who saw that coming? That Pop and LaMarcus Aldridge would be cool. Pop and Kawhi Leonard, not so much.
Now, how about this?
This is my point.
They keep Kawhi Leonard healthy for next year. And LeBron's going to San Antonio.
Ah.
Or
Reckless speculation.
Reckless, real
you want
reckless.
to really recklessly speculate?
Okay.
I like throwing it out.
None of this is going to happen. by the way. That Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs can't work it out.
Ooh.
And they have to make a trade. They trade him because if they figure we don't want to just lose him for nothing the following year, maybe he goes to Philadelphia and joins LeBron there. Ben Simmons comes to the Spurs.
No way.
No,
That'd
you went too
that'd be
far.
crazy.
You went too
By the
far.
That'd be
way,
crazy.
this came up during Brian Windhorst week when he was on the show, and we just recklessly speculated about that for like 3 days. It's fun.
That would be crazy. BC, get on that.
Right? Be good. Let's talk about where someone else might end up this summer. Isaiah Thomas, as we know, when he was traded to the Lakers, he and his agent were not thrilled with the idea of him coming off the bench.
How do you know? Did you hear from anyone?
I do know that. But he, to Isaiah's credit, seriously, he was the good soldier. To Luke Walton's credit, they had a big dinner. They talked about it. It was a thing. It was a managed situation. And here's what IT is saying now. I like it here. I like the situation I'm in, the coaching staff, the system. If things work out, I would love to be here. You never know. With free agency, you've got to keep your options open. I have no complaints since I've stepped foot and put on a Laker uniform. Now, obviously, in the context of this, Lonzo Ball is going to be LA's starting point guard going forward. So he's making this statement knowing that if he stayed in LA, it would be as a sixth man.
Right.
He also said he doesn't see himself as a sixth man. So what does this quote mean?
He's got to say all the right things. That's the right approach because you're entering free agency. And he said it. I got to keep all my options open. I can't say, hell no, I ain't coming back because then it might come around to where the Lakers could very well swing and miss on big-name free agents. So there might be a pile of cash waiting for Isaiah Thomas. Not the huge deal that he's looking for in terms of 5 years or 4 years or whatever, but a lot more in a 1 or 2 year scenario. I got to say one thing about Isaiah Thomas. I feel for him because of this. He never got his big payday.
No.
Relatively speaking. I know he signed a 3-year, $21 million deal. That's money for us, but NBA-wise, that's a modest contract. And before that, as a 60th pick, he was making minimum.
Right.
So this is a guy who a year ago was thinking, I might be making $30 million a year. And now all that money is evaporated. I feel for him in the situation he's in, but I think the best thing a player can do is put yourself on a team that's going to use you the right way and utilize your talents to the best ability. And what they've done since he's been there is win. They've won. He's played well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets some money.
I mean, first of all, you got to know if they want you back. First of all,
that's
to
true.
speak about going back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then a lot can happen in a year.
Oh, that's true.
A lot can happen
Ask
in a
Boogie.
year. You know what I mean? A lot can happen in a year. And, you know, from him patting himself on the back to the situation of with the jersey and all the going back to tribute video to going to Cleveland, getting hurt, to getting, you know, a lot's happened in a year. But at the end of the day, one thing that can't nobody say is that he can play this game.
Yeah.
And wherever it ends out, I hope it works out for him.
Well, one thing he has said consistently through all this, I talked to him about this last week, is that he said, I just want the same chance I had in Boston. Meaning he wants the load of the offense. He wants to start because he feels that people who are saying, you're not the same player you were at the Celtics, he keeps saying, I'm not getting the same opportunity.
Not getting the
That's
same
hard.
opportunity.
And I think he just wants that shot again. So I would see him, if he has an option in free agency of going somewhere where he knows he can be the starter, getting at least decent money, that I think
gonna
he
be
would take
hard.
that over being a backup with the Lakers. But again, he's smart to keep his options open.
But we say he's a backup. He plays a lot of minutes, and he plays. They run the offense through him.
I do not think he wants to start the game on the bench. Here's what The Jump recommends for today. Scott Cacciola from the New York Times, penning a feature on J.J. Redick, who he calls the most meticulous player in the NBA. Redick forces himself to make 342, not 343, not 341, 342 shots every Sunday during the offseason, a number he settled on years ago. Check it out.
G. Hill. He's smooth with the velvets. You see that? It was a velvet.
That was velvet.